game. d4, d5, bishop f4, London system. Knight f6, knight f3, knight c6. Knight c6 is not recommended because it blocks the c pawn. And also after c3 later on, the knight will be very stuck at c6, all the squares controlled by white pieces. So instead of knight c6, I will later move knight to d7 and c5. e3, e6, and c4. Bishop to d6, bishop to g3. So now white has moved the bishop back a little bit. Castle and knight c3. This is good. Rook e8. Black is preparing to e5. But right now it's still very hard, I think. After c5, oh no. Maybe after trading the bishop, black can push the e pawn. So knight e5. Put the knight in the center. That's good. Ooh, this is a mistake. I think black should, either take that with the bishop or bishop to b4 to pin the c6 knight, and later c3 knight, and later move the knight to e4. That's the best move. But in this case, black made a mistake. That's a fork, and white win material. Rook c1, e5. So I think white can take the pawn, right? King a4, take. Bishops, yeah. So if I would play as white, I will like trying to castle. For example, take the pawn, and can we? No, g3 is e4. What about e4? And later move the bishop and castle. This looks good. But we move queen to c2. What about bishop f5? This is a good move. I think the rook should have moved to d3. a3 is better actually. h4. Oh, I think now white should I think black can wait because the rook is still pinned. For example, queen to c6. Later, when we take that, bishop take, when take the g2. This looks good. And also, if white still push the pawn, we can move the rook. After the take, we will add another piece on the rook. And the king is quite exposed. I think that's a problem for white. Take, b6. Why don't we take the pawn? Or we want to, yeah. I think g6 is better than b6 because we want to protect the h7. Or I would take the pawn, so white cannot castle. b6, take, bishop back, h5, white keep attacking, but be aware of the open files. Yeah, I think we should take the pawn. Otherwise, it's a little risky. Take the pawn. What about queen f4? We cannot really take the rook because rook d8. So how can we deal with this? If we take, no, queen e3, and later rook d2, queen f2. I think our king will be in trouble. We'll lose the rook. That's not good. Yeah, I think we should take the pawn instead of leaving the e3 pawn threatening us. And also rook d2 is looks so scary, right? Black take the pawn. We can take that with the bishop. King f1. We have this pawn at f2. It's the same after rook. Yeah. Queen f4 and rook d2. Yeah, this is a little bit scary to be honest. What about e4? Bishop to e2. And we have another pawn. Rook e3, but rook d2. And the problem for white is it cannot divide the pieces out. Take this one, queen h1, and take the queen. And white will be very passive if black can push the e pawn to connect these two pawns. But black didn't do that. Now I think white solved the problem. h6, rook f3. What about rook f6? I think this is better to kick the queen. So if we move rook to f6, the queen to b3 for example, and we can move the queen to f4 and later or take the pawn. So we can cut off the queen, protecting the h6. Ooh, this is a mistake, and we pin the queen. And now white is winning. Yeah, we don't have to walk through the game. I think the problem with black is the fork at the beginning. Like this here. Yeah. So be aware of the fork. And from white's perspective, I think white should castle after winning knight to make the king safe. Like from here, first of all, we can take the d5. I don't see move the queen to a4, bishop to e6. I still think we should like castle as soon as possible to make the king safe first. That's it.